Alright, so the other day I was browsing around in different forums and Facebook groups about autographs, and there was a conversation going on about getting things authenticated, getting, like autographs that you got yourself in person, getting them authenticated, and or slabbed if they're cards. And that conversation sort of morphed into how, like, another conversation about how third-party stuff is just an opinion, and sometimes they reject things that are authentic, and sometimes they authenticate stuff that's obviously fake. Like, I've seen a JSA authenticated postcard from Robin Yount that was not even autographed. It was printed. It wasn't live ink. It was literally just a printed autograph on the postcard, and JSA authenticated it as real. So I mean, every company out there's got flaws. That's what the conversation kind of turned into. And I left a comment on there about how I submitted probably like $500 worth of cards, and they all got rejected from PSA. I was trying to get them slabbed, and just voicing my frustrations like like a normal person would, just participating in the conversation. And somebody replied to me, just coming out of nowhere, saying, "Good, I got what I deserved. I should be wasting money because I'm just a dealer, and the only reason to get stuff authenticated is if you're trying to sell it." And just really unhinged, saying all this crazy stuff about how the only reason to get cards slabbed is if you're trying to sell them, and basically calling me an asshole and all this because I was trying to slab autographs that somebody signed for me. Besides the guy just being a flat-out lunatic and stupid, I wanted to come on here and talk about how there's more than one reason to get stuff slabbed and authenticated. There's plenty of reasons. Number one being, it proves it's authentic, which does make it easier to sell, but that's not the only reason to do it. And it doesn't really prove it's authentic. You're just getting an opinion, which is fine. But the real reasons for me would be, after the authentication process, and this goes for anything, like if you're getting like jerseys authenticated, or any kind of autograph authenticated, or any kind of cards graded or slabbed, comic books getting graded and slabbed. You're not necessarily trying to sell them, you're trying to preserve them. You're trying to protect them. I saw a story a while back in Beckett magazine from Hurricane Katrina. This was 20 years ago. And this guy, his house, everything he owned got destroyed in Katrina, except for the cards that he had slabbed. They survived. So that's one reason right there. It's protection. It seals it in, it protects it. It's going to preserve the grade that it's in, preserve the condition it's in, unless you keep them in like sunlight or something. But I also wanted to share my story on why you should get stuff slabbed and authenticated. A couple of years ago, well, in 2021, somebody broke into my house. I guess they were watching me for a while. They learned my schedule. They knew when I was going to be leaving. They knew when I was going to be coming back. They knew where my cameras and security system were. They knew how to avoid everything. And they broke in, and they stole about $25,000 to $30,000 worth of sports memorabilia and autographs and stuff. Like, I had a closet with a bunch of jerseys hanging in it that I was trying to get framed that I hadn't framed yet. They just went in there and took the whole closet worth of jerseys. I had a couple of binders. One of them was a binder full of 2001 Topps. It was a complete set, and I was working on trying to get the set signed. And a lot of those are really irreplaceable because a lot of those guys have passed away. There was a couple of them in there that might have been the only example that player ever signed, because they passed away shortly after the set came out. And yeah, that binder was gone. There's a 790 something cards in that set, and I had about 500 of them signed, so more than half. And with that binder, I had a Hall of Fame binder with all these Hall of Famers from all different sports, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, boxing, wrestling, just racing, cameras, so all sports, probably another 500 cards, or 500 total autographs in there. You know, my Hank Aaron's, stuff like that was in there. Those two binders together were probably worth about $10,000 alone, but just those two binders, and then, you know, on top of everything else they took. And you know, so that after that night, like, I installed more cameras, got a new security system put in, and since those guys got in so easily and knew how to avoid all my cameras and stuff, and they were able to get away with $30,000 worth of stuff, they kept coming back trying to get more, because I had a bunch of stuff on the wall. Like, my Kobe Bryant jersey was right there on the wall. They didn't touch it. It's probably the most valuable thing I own, and they didn't touch it. But they kept coming back for like 2 weeks. Every day after that, they would try to come back, and it got to the point where I had a friend come pick up my truck, so it looked like I wasn't home, and I sat in the living room all night with the door unlocked with a shotgun, waiting for them to try again. Sat there all night for a couple nights in a row, and that's when they stopped coming in. So I guess they were watching me enough to know I was doing that. I was waiting for them. You know, I called the police, did the report on that, and you know, the police aren't going to go out actively searching for things. So I went around looking at pawn shops and stuff, and most of the time when somebody breaks into a house and steals things and then they go to sell it somewhere, they're not going to sell it in that immediate area. They're going to go a couple of towns over or something, you know, a couple 100 miles away, and sell it there. After looking around for about 2 to 3 years, you know, last year, me and a friend of mine stumbled onto this little family-owned pawn shop that I'd never noticed before. And ironically, it was less than half a mile. Like, looking at Google Maps, this pawn shop is 0.4 miles away from my house. Less than half a mile away. It's like 5 minutes away, not even 5 minutes away. It's walking distance. And it's a little family-owned pawn shop. We went in there. As soon as we walked in, I noticed they had a sports memorabilia section. And almost everything they had on display from the sports memorabilia section was stuff that was stolen from me. So, you know, naturally I called the police, and the detective that had investigated originally a couple of years before that went in there, and unfortunately the only things they could recover for me were the stuff that I had proof and serial numbers on, which were the slabbed cards, the slabbed autographs. Out of about a minimum of 1,000 autographed cards, I got seven of them back, because those were the, well, not all of them, but and then they'd been in that pawn shop for a couple of years already, so a lot of the stuff had already been sold off. And unfortunately, they only had the slab stuff, or authenticated stuff, certified stuff. Anything that wasn't certified, like, there was some stuff there that was like certified out of the pack, like Topps and other companies like that, the stuff that I had pulled, but I didn't have records of those serial numbers, so I couldn't get that stuff back. And everything I had, like the set of cards that I was working on for over 20 years, probably just got thrown in the trash because most of it wasn't certified. They probably pulled out the slabbed cards and trashed everything else, which was, like I said, a lot of one of a kind stuff, hard to find things. Yeah, that's why you get your autograph stuff slabbed. It's not because I'm an asshole trying to profit off of celebrities by selling them. It's to protect yourself. So, out of like 1,000 cards, $30,000 worth of autographs, I got maybe $500 back. And that's just because that stuff I had slabbed, and I had pictures of all the slab stuff. Like these, I was able to prove that these were mine, because I had, here on my YouTube channel, I brought up videos of me with these slabbed cards, showing the serial numbers and stuff in them, and you know, just like I am right now. And this, what I'm doing right now, is the only reason I was able to get these cards back, because I was showing them off in videos like this on my channel here, and I had a record proof of when I had published it. So that is why you get your stuff authenticated and get some kind of serial number on it. And keep a record of it. If you get stuff slabbed, take pictures of it. Do like I did here. Take pictures of yourself holding it with the serial number clearly visible on it. Keep records of everything. Yeah, it's not because I'm some kind of asshole out there trying to make money off celebrities and athletes who are taking the time out of their day to sign autographs for me. It's a way to protect myself. So if something like this happens again, I have a better chance at getting it back. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Any way you can, just watching the videos is enough. And I'll see you next time.